Hello survivors, hi family and friends, this is Roy from Bootsy Sweetheart's Guide to Life and Other Disappointing Experiences with a question for you. Safety first in the workshop. Welcome to my workshop. What do you think a dangle, coaxial cable, and tool have in common? Do you know? Stay with me and you'll find out. So the question was, what does coaxial cable, a tassel, tool have in common? Well, they have tassels in common. This is a piece of coaxial cable. And I got this to hook up the cable TV to the television. So a couple of videos ago, I shared with you a haul from the thrift shop near us where I went by the hair accessory department and picked up a bag of hair accessories, thinking maybe there's something in there that we could use for crafts. And sure enough, if you remember that video, there were a lot of things in it that could be used for journaling, for garment embellishments, just a bunch of craft ideas. Well, I also went to the thrift store and saw a bag of coaxial cable ends. I've been criticized, by the way, for doing too much. At the end of the coaxial cable is a little fitting that looks like this. And they sold them in a bag like this. I guess when the cable installer comes, they bring a bag like this. And there's a whole bunch of these fittings. So I picked them up. Anyway, you can't have enough coaxial cable fittings, can you? Well, it turns out, to me, I imagine them as being, I imagine them as being caps to tassels. And sure enough, they became really useful. So let me show you what I did with some tooling, some tool that, you see these in Joann's and Michael's. You buy them by the roll. They're usually in the wedding aisle. They very inexpensive. And I had, let me get my things out here so you can see. I have a lot of stuff out here. A lot of stuff. I have my Bootsy Bits and Bobs box full of goodies. I have all kinds of, some of my beads and things. And I have that there. I have some emergency things here. And many more that I don't even want to. You know what? It's just easier. Let me dump this whole thing out. So I went through my stash of things to see what I could do with making tassels out of tool and coaxial cable ends. I don't know what their fitting is called. So the first thing, of course, what I did was cut off a length of tool and made kind of like a tassel out of it. And I wound up wire, if I can find it, excuse me. You want to know what the noise is? The noise is all this. I have no room to work. So this is ordinary jewelry wiring that I got from Michael's. I have no idea of the weight. It's strong enough to do what I want to do. Of course, you could use any kind of twine, thread, beading cord, even leather if you have a big enough hole in things. And you know, you make your standard wraps and you gather it in the middle and wrap the wire around. Make it really tight. Leave yourself a substantial end because you're going to want to add beads and things to that. And you wind up with something that looks like this. Now, before Ooh, I'm getting a little sloppy here. You don't really need a big, I forgot what this part of the tassel is called. You don't even need that, but I decided on this one to do just that. And look what happens. You make it sure this is very, very tight. And feed it through the coaxial cable. And look at what a nice tassel cap that makes. Here's one that's already done. And then all I do is even everything off. In this case I have to cut the loops. Pretty tool, and there's no award for neatness here. You know, with any tassel and pom-poms, you trim after you're done. Try not to cut yourself. And look at the pretty tassel. Now, it's kind of pretty by itself, but once you start adding things to the top of it, they get really, really pretty. Let me just give you an example. This is one where I didn't use one of those coaxial cable ends. And look at how pretty this one is. But I like the metal on this. You have to go through your stash of beads and whatnots to find things that are going to fit just around this part of the coaxial cable fitting. So for example, I have this bead. I'll put the wire on it. It's a big bead, but there's uses for all of this. And all of a sudden now it's starting to take on a whole different personality. And then you take any other small bead. It doesn't have to fit around the base of the coaxial. And you start building your dangle, your tassel dangle. This here is glued in. I used E6000, but you can certainly use hot glue depending on the application. So it's all that simple, and you can graduate down to smaller beads. Smaller beads. And it just grows and grows and grows. They also had in the bag these compression sleeves that hold the wire, the coaxial cable wire, in place. And that I'm going to try to use with cording, big thick cording, when I want to make a loop fitting. Here's an example of a tassel without the coaxial, but I'm going to put a little lobster claw at the end of this. It actually reminds me of a fishing lure. If you fish for striped bass and things like that, this reminds you of that. So that works really well. And you glue, getting back to this guy, you glue the bead down here. This is important to glue it down. And I glue it and then I hold it tightly actually you can get rid of these first. You're just interested in making sure that this bead is glued to the coaxial cable firmly, because you don't want it sliding around. And I just glue it, and the E6000 dries quickly. Here's another idea with chain. You don't have to use a chain. You can use any of the fiber threads or cording. Pretty. And this one, I just happen to have this little hook. I don't know what it's for, but as you can see, I collect a lot of stuff. Here's another one I made. Oops. Here's another one I made. Same exact way, but I took flowers from artificial flowers. Who was that? Was that Paul Anka? Flowers. Oh, high fashion to wear. Well, whatever. And I cut the hole a teeny bit bigger. And I had these beads that looked too small of a hole, but with a little bit of elbow grease, I got it to slide on. And you have to play with some of the beads. You're going to have to rough handle. Well, this one did. Oh, I see it's got the flower stuck in it. Wait a second. You want the flower all the way on the base of that coaxial cable. There we go. See? And this goes here, and it'll hold it really in place. There we go. This one hardly has to be glued, but you'd want to glue the flowers because they're very fragile. And if you don't glue them, it's very easy to rip them. So you keep pulling this down, and then I would add some more beads to the top here. Very fun, a lot of fun, and it gives you a chance to use some of those beads that you, what the heck am I going to do with this bead? Where am I going to put that bead? Here's a little bead. You see a theme of metal here. I was thinking, I'm not sure you would tell me if I'm right, that if you make a lot of metal ones like this, they'd be good steampunk kind of embellish or something. See this hanging from as a zipper pull from the outside of a bag, or a dangle on a journal, or just a decoration. Oh, quite lovely. Surprise you someday. By the way, this isolation, I go nowhere, is driving me crazy. I hope you're all safe and well. So they've got that kind of an option. What else did I do here? Here's one with some baby yarn, not tool. I didn't finish this one yet. So what I'll do is I'll put glue into the recess of the coaxial cable, and I'll put a clip on it and hold it while it dries. I'll clip these too. Maybe I'll clip them now so I see what this yarn looks like. I like this yarn. I don't know where I got this. This is like that baby weight yarn. Oh, look at how pretty. I don't know whether you can see. It's got a little bit of shimmery threads in it. Now I have a black bead here, and I don't think that would go well. So I would look for something else. More bins of stuff. Ooh, excuse the noise. This is one of those throw it in all bins. I don't know where I put it, throw it in. Well, I don't see anything in there that I would use. Oh, look at this. Now this is interesting. This is like a wood disc with a hole in it. Let's see how that looks. I think it's going to fit fine. Alright, that's a different idea. Another idea that I had, oh, this might go with this. You can tell today's not scripted. I'm just flying by the seat of my squeaky chair. You could do something like a flower. Might be hard. It may be hard to put it on this, so let me put it on this one. So what I might do here is take a little crochet flower, put that on. Whoops, this came loose here. Put a crochet flower on. These are all part of my little collection of keeping my hands busy, so the idle hands is the devil's workshop, as they say. Seems to be a lot of devilishness going on lately. Okay. Oh, I like this idea. I'm not paying attention to the screen here, to the monitor. Sorry. Got that. Oh, look at how nice. And then when I put any kind of a bead on there, let's see if I have one that's big. I'll use the black one, but it's probably not appropriate for this, but I'll use it anyway for now. Or I could use that. No, I don't like that one. We'll use this just for now. Again, you start gluing it down. You don't want them to come off and leave too much space. As much as I'm proud of finding a use for these, oh, that one's too, see, now this hole is too small, so I'm going to go back to the bigger one. Okay, there we go. Alright, so if this was a different color, you can, and of course you take the beads and you paint them or cover them with gilding of some sort. Oh, I have some gilded paint kits. And that's a nice look. And you build up of course, you build up more beads. And as long as you want. And you can switch over, of course, to the metal beads. So many beads. Yeah. So this was a thought. Here's what I'm getting ready to do. I just take a piece of tulle, wrap it around. This is too much. You can see it's too thick. And just cut it. Put your wire through here. Put your wire through the top. Let me get a piece for you. At least this is the way I do it. I mean, everybody has their own way of doing tassels. What I do with this is I double it up like this. Oh, it's hard to see. 2 strands. I feed it through here, through the loop, and then I take the 2 ends and pass it through the loop and pull it. This is very flexible wire. It's very strong. And now I've got that tight top, that gather. There's a name for each part of the tassel. And then I can begin. And then I put glue in here. Repeating myself, but it's worth repeating. Glue it in there. Clip it. And then come back and trim. And then you're set to decorate. So this was a fun activity for me. I have now all kinds of tassels that I'm developing. They're going to go in my Bootsy's box of bits and bobs as one of the ingredients, and what that is I'm going to be offering boxes of things. Most of them things that are made already. Some are not. For example, I wanted to do a crochet covered marble or a crochet covered gem. Do I have one here? Well, here's a marble. So my goal was originally to take a marble and make a nice cover for it to use as a dangle. But I closed it up too soon, so it doesn't fit around the marble. And it just happened to be sitting on the side here. And, whoops, look what I've got. It covers the coaxial cable. I got to just weave in the ends. And then I have a brand new tassel cover, a tassel cap, crocheted. So that's the kind of things I'm making here in my little Bootsy box of bits and bobs. I'll be putting all kinds of little embellishments that you can use however you wish on crafts or whatnot. So this is part of that. I guess the important thing of this video is don't pass up, even in the hardware section in the thrift store. You may find that you have a little bit of a treasure waiting for you. I'm looking to see if I have anything else before I sign off. I don't think so. Now I'll have to clean up this. My dad used to say, if you come home clean, you didn't have fun today. He was right. My brother and I had a lot of fun with my dad. Anyway, reminisce. So, don't pass up the hardware department in your thrift store. You never know. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope I've inspired you with a couple of ideas. I'm not sure what my next video is. I'm planning it. Until then, please be safe. Please stay smart. Please stay well. And bye for now.